Hello and welcome to a special breaking news edition of Zeekism. This is the first time I've done it, so apologies for any technical foibles. Jimmy Kimmel has been taken off the air, been cancelled over comments he made on his show last night, I believe, around Charlie Kirk and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This comes from the BBC, but everyone's reporting it now. ABC has pulled late night host Jimmy Kimmel off air indefinitely over comments he made about the shooting of right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. I've never heard that term. Preempted indefinitely, a spokesperson for the Disney-owned network said in a statement to the BBC. In his Monday night monologue, Kimmel said the MAGA gang was trying to score political points off of Kirk's killing. On Tuesday, a 22-year-old suspect appeared in court charged with aggravated murder over last Wednesday's shooting of the 31-year-old conservative activist. Representatives for Kimmel did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Kimmel said on Monday, the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. The late-night host also criticized flags being flown at half-mast in honor of Kirk and mocked the president's reaction to the shooting. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he calls a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, Kimmel said. I mean, yes, okay. Let's move down slightly. Shortly after ABC announced the host had been suspended, Trump, who has criticized him on many occasions, said it was great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is cancelled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done, the president wrote in a social media post. Trump then criticized two other late-night hosts, Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers, who described as total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible, he says. Sorry, I wasn't highlighting that bit. And I'll pause for comment there before we get to the head of the FCC saying, do you know what, we're going to that. Earlier on Wednesday, the chair of the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, Brendan Carr, said on a podcast that Kimmel's remarks showed the sickest conduct possible as he urged Disney to take action. With regards to late night comedians, I mean, we've got to talk about Stephen Colbert in this situation. Many people who were supporters of him said that the reason he was cancelled, his contract not being renewed, shall we say, for next year was due to the fact that he criticised the president on his show. He also criticised the network for bowing down to the president. And here we have a similar situation, I think, with regards to the comments made by Jimmy Kimmel in regards to a supporter of Trump being assassinated. Broadcasters have a license granted by us at the FCC, and what comes with it, an obligation to operate in the public interest, said Carr, who is a Trump appointee. And that'll be the key word there, Trump appointee, will be why president supporters may be happy with this, and detractors not so. Look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, he told The Benny Show. An apology from Kimmel would be a very reasonable, minimal step. I'm assuming they didn't get that. The ABC announcement came after just one of the biggest owners of TV stations in the US, Nexstar, said it would not air Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. Nexstar said the comedian's remarks about Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. We do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located, said Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. I used to like Jimmy Kimmel a lot. I think he was, from when you live in the UK, you have to rely on places like YouTube for broadcasting of late night American chat shows and comedies in general from America, if they're not broadcast on one of our TV stations or on streaming devices. And back in 2013, 14, 15, I remember I was working in London. I used to catch up on clips of the American late night hosts and shows, and you want to see what's going on in the American news as much as you do want to laugh with the comedians. And Jimmy Kimmel was probably my favourite. I liked the sketches he used to do. I liked the comedy he was providing. I don't remember much political commentary, to be honest, back in the day. with much of the American news, but maybe it was so diluted it didn't matter if they were or they weren't. It wasn't the focal point. For me, when I look for comedy, I look to want to laugh first. Sometimes I seek out satirical or political commentary from my comedians. But if I'm looking for that, I'm looking for that. And I think American news has been... American news. American comedy has been... I say American, British comedy is the same as well. There's very one-sided political commentary first, and then making people laugh is sort of the next priority. And I think that's probably where I would advocate them changing their way. I think there's a place for satirical commentary on politics. There is a market for it, and I'm one who subscribes to it at times, but I don't want everything comedy-wise to be politically charged. I want to laugh. That's what comedy's supposed to do. And so I think that'll be my only comment on this. I don't really want to get into the Charlie Kirk of it all. I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was, to be perfectly honest. I heard the name probably in relation to election coverage. And that was it. Younger members of my family were aware of who he was, and I think that leads itself to know that was who he was advertising to in terms of demographic. I'm nearly 40-year-old man. I'm definitely not the demographic, I guess. So that's my only comment. I think the whole thing is sad. I think the political discourse alone is sad. I think the fact that a man was shot last week and lost his life, his kids lost their dad, his wife lost her husband. That's really sad. I saw the video of his children running up to him on some chat show, I think, and that sort of broke my heart a bit, that they were now without their dad, and that got to me. But before people think I'm a right-wing nut or anything, I genuinely, when it comes to politics, I put my head in the sand a little bit, and I don't back any particular leaning or institution. I don't. I vote. I vote on policy, not people, and that's it. I just don't. I'm like Switzerland. I'm very neutral when it comes to opinions about things. Maybe that means I don't. And so this whole thing, I think culture in general, the last, I want to say 10, 15 years, has just got so toxic, and Jimmy. We'll circle back to Jimmy Kimmel, I guess. His failing, in my eyes, is not making people laugh, and being shown to be incredibly biased. When you're a business, I think trying to attract viewership, make money, then that's what you do. And so alienating at least 50% of your audience seems silly to me. I think movie studios have sort of woken up to this now. I guess TV companies have as well. Disney, of course, are both. But we've seen with Stephen Colbert that in their eyes and their rationale is that it's business first before the message. But for me, I want to maintain a neutrality with this, and I think it's a shame that Kimmel's been cancelled in a way, because like I said, he used to really make me laugh, and I thought he was the funniest comedian at one point. And it's hard to sympathise when it's sort of been coming. I would hope the rationale for him being cancelled isn't political. I would hope it's because, like I said, he's stepped one too far now. But I think from all walks, this has been coming anyway. The late night comedy shows, seemingly haven't been making much money. Certain people would say, and if that's the case, there's only a certain amount of time they can hang on with that. But if not, then a bit. Those are my thoughts. I've rambled a little bit, so apologies, but it's a very messy issue, and one I really didn't want to cover on the channel. But Jimmy Kimmel being cancelled does fit into my orbit, my interests, and so let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please leave a like, subscribe on the channel. If this has gone well, which I hope it did, in terms of the technical foilings of the live broadcast, then I'd like to do these more often, these sort of sporadic breaking news ones. But if not, then maybe I'll go back to my go back to my day job, so to speak. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, listening, subscribing. That really helps the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.